Hello everyone and welcome to the Tiny Human podcast. My name is Laura and I'm coming to you from Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, where I live with my boyfriend, our dog, our cat, and our rabbit. You can find me online as Tiny Human on Instagram, Ravelry, Etsy, and YouTube. It's been about 2 weeks since my last episode and I've got quite a few things to show you today. Nothing out of the ordinary. I have finished 2 Oslo hats, which I will show you in a second, and I cast on another one. So this is really turning into Oslo Hat Central. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Today is the summer solstice. It's June 21st, the first day of summer. And I meant to record this yesterday, but it was so gloomy and rainy that the house was so dark, it would have been horrible. And today, in beautiful summer fashion, it is gloriously sunny outside and lovely, and the light is really nice. So I thought I would do it today. I actually already filmed this entire thing and I didn't feel good about it. It kind of felt like I was trying to rush it. And I'm trying really hard right now in my life to sort of slow myself down because I've been moving at such a clip for the past 6-7 months. Well, actually longer than that. Since before we moved, I've just been trying to get so much stuff done. And I'm really starting to wear myself out. And to be perfectly honest, I probably hit burnout months ago, but I haven't allowed myself to sort of like register it, so I just keep working and working. So I'm gonna re-record this, try to take it a little slower. I think it'll help try to not center myself, but just to slow myself down is my main goal. I just want to take everything a little bit slower, especially over the summer. Yeah, that was a long spiel to say not much. Yeah. I am wearing my field day cardigan again today. I filmed the last one with a different sweater. I was kind of a bit too hot in it, and this is what I'm wearing about 80% of the time if it's not blazing hot in my house. And it's because I love it so much. It's by Ozetta, which I'm sure you all have heard of before. Her designs are gorgeous, and this is the field day cardigan. I didn't knit it to pattern. I talked about this, I think, in an episode before, 4 episodes ago. I can't remember exactly. But I knit it out of DK and a strand of Surrey alpaca held together. So it's luxuriously soft, beautifully oversized, fits amazing, and I am dying to knit another one, but I have so many other things that I want to make first, and I don't really need a Surrey alpaca sweater right this moment. So I'm gonna dye the yarn for that, because this is in my own hand-dyed yarn in the dark mushroom and pale mushroom Surrey alpaca, and it's lovely, and I want to make a black one as well. So, and another thing that makes it extra special are these handmade buttons that were made for me by a very good friend of mine, and I've had them for ages, and I finally found a use for them. So I think before I even start my next one, I might see if he can make me some more so I can have the same kind of buttons on my next one. Anyway, I would absolutely recommend this pattern. If anyone's looking for a good cardigan, I would recommend this one. And it also has the I-cord edged grown on button band, so you don't have to knit a button band after you're done the whole body. It's done at the same time. So perfection. But yes, I will move swiftly on. I've got a couple finished objects, as I said. I'll start off with my Oslo hats because it's just a new segment now. Oslo hats forever. And yeah, if you're bored by this, maybe I'll put a timestamp of when my Oslo hat speech is over. As I said before, this is patterned by Petite Knit. This is the Oslo hat mohair edition, so it's 1 strand fingering weight held with 1 strand of mohair. And the ones I've finished this time are the ones that the one I had as a work in progress last time, which is this one right here. And this is the one that I knit for a friend of my boyfriend's for helping build our deck. This is in my newest colorway, Inappropriate Eggplant, and I absolutely adore this colorway. I have dyed some for my next shop update. I'll have more information on that later, but I did have a little bit of mohair left over, and I think I might, if I sell out of that really fast, I'll order some more mohair for more stuff. Anyway, I knit this one on 3.5mm needles because he is also a large noggined man, and I find the 3mm needle, even with the largest size of the hat, isn't quite big enough. It has a tendency to be a little bit snug around the temple, and you don't want that because you're just gonna give yourself a headache. But I knit this one on 3.5mm needles, the largest size, and I absolutely adore it. If you're not familiar with the Oslo hat, it's essentially a long stockinette tube that you start knitting, where you fold up, you knit it in stockinette in one direction, and then you flip it to be knitting the other way around so that it looks like reverse stockinette. But you just sew up the brim and then you fold it up again. So you're only ever doing knit stitches, no matter what part of the hat you're on. So for me, I find, because there's no establishing rib or anything like that, it goes by so quickly, even though you're knitting like a super long length. I keep knitting these, and every time I knit one, I'm surprised by how quick it is. And it's so easy. And if you wanted this to be a first like accessory pattern, if you've only ever knit, or if you're brand new to knitting, this one would be amazing. You get really good at a knit stitch because all you need to know is knitting and then decreasing. Just knit two together. So it's fantastic. And I think it fits so well. But yes, this is my first one that I finished. I finished it quite shortly after my last episode. And then the other day, I had this plan. I had leftovers from another one that I'd made a while ago. And I had a plan to make a baby hat version to be a matchy-matchy set, because the one I knit before is for my sister-in-law, and she's got a 1-year-old son. So I had some leftovers, and I didn't know if I had enough of the fingering weight, but I had an extra skein, but I did know I had enough of the mohair, because I only used half of the mohair for the full size. So we were going, me and my boyfriend were going to some lawnmower races the other day. It was lawnmower races in where there was a rib fest. So I didn't have anything that was easy to work on my needles at that point. So I quickly just grabbed the leftovers and put it in a bag. And I cast on the way there, and I got like half of it done. But this is my second finished object, which is also an Oslo hat. And this is for my nephew. So I did the 3rd size, which is slightly bigger than what his head is now, but I want him to be able to wear it once winter rolls around. So this one is in my black cherry colorway, and then it will match his mom's. And I did have to break into a second skein that I had laying around for this one, but I dyed myself up some Surrey alpaca in black cherry as well, so I'm going to make myself one with the Surrey alpaca instead of mohair, because I really, really like Surrey alpaca. But yeah, this one I knit on 3mm needles because I knew that the gauge, I wanted it to be a little bit denser, but I went up a size for what he would need now, so it will fit perfectly fine. So those are my finished Oslo hats. This is the stack I have at the moment. I'll be sending off 4 of these here soon, so I won't have a nice stack of every Oslo hat that I've ever knit. So I'm going to be sending these to my sister-in-law. This one's for my cousin, and then this one's for my boyfriend's friend. And this is the only one that's sticking around the house, because this one was for my boyfriend, and this one is in the hot lava colorway. But yeah, there's my tidy stack of Oslo hats, and I'll show you my new cast on in a second after I show you my next finished object. So my third and big finished object is my free dog sweater. And I believe, if I remember correctly, this is a pattern by Angstrick. I feel like that sounds right, but I'm not 100% sure. If it's wrong, I'll put it on the screen. But it is an absolutely lovely, oversized, cabled, chunky sweater. And I have finished mine, including the big long neck. I don't even know if I'm showing you the front or the back. I think it's the front. Nope, I'm showing you the back. I need to I bought a bunch of tags from Kylie and the Machine, so I need to sew one on so that I know what the back is. But here it is in all its glory. It's a little bit folded, so I haven't shown it for a while. And it smells, oh, this smells so sheepy. It's so delectable. So it's knit in the round until you separate for the front and the back, which, to be perfectly honest, while I was knitting this, I know a lot of people don't like seaming garments. I have absolutely no problem with it, and to be honest, if I were to make this again, I would knit it in pieces, because I think for me personally, that would be a lot easier to just to manage. I felt it was really heavy on my hands to have the entirety of the sweater on my needles at all times. And so if I were to knit it again, I would just add some extra stitches on the side when I'm casting on for the front and the back, and then I would just seam them up afterwards. I just think it would be a lot easier. But if you don't like doing that, this is perfect for you, because yeah, it's knit up to the underarm, and then you split, and then you do some shaping back and front, and then you seam, you leave the stitches on a holder for the shoulders. And in the pattern, it has you do a, I think a sewn, not a sewn bind off, a grafted bind off. And I looked at some other people's projects on Ravelry, and I just thought it had a tendency, like it had the capability of looking a bit clunky. So what I did, I just turned it inside out and did a 3 needle bind off on the inside, because I mentioned this before, actually, it just dawned on me that I talked about this, but just this is how it looks blocked now. Sorry about the traffic noise. They're doing some construction outside. But this is it blocked. So I just think it's so much smoother, and now that it's also had the sleeves picked up, I think it's a lot nicer. But yeah, so since the last time I picked up the sleeves and knit both the sleeves, they're both knit in double moss stitch, which is kind of funny to me because technically you're knitting a 1x1 rib for an entire sleeve, which is great. But yeah, I knit both the sleeves, and then I picked up for the collar. And the funniest thing is the last time I showed this to you, I hadn't done the sleeves or the collar, and I'd only had 3 balls of yarn left, I think. And I was really worried about having enough yarn to actually finish the sweater, especially since I wanted to do the long neck. So I had ordered 3 more balls of this Realma Vans. This, if you didn't see the last one, is colorway 014. And so I got this in the mail a couple days after I filmed the last episode, I think. And so I finished my sweater with the neckline that I wanted, and this is how much I have left now. So I figure if I hadn't wanted the full long turtleneck, I didn't need to order any more at all, because I would have had enough. But the designer has a like a neck warmer or dicky pattern, which was the panel in the front, back, and then it's joined at the shoulders with the long collar. So according to the pattern, I have enough in this, and I also have another colorway that I have set aside, but I'm going to try to use this up for that, because this was supposed to be the original pattern I had chosen for this yarn, and the other contrast color was going to be the Setesdal sweater, which is a Norwegian style pullover, and it was beautiful. It had color work across the chest and along the cuffs, and it's lovely, but like it was on one of my make 9s, but I was never going to be able to get the row gauge for that to work, so I sort of scrapped that as one of my make 9s, and I'm considering this one of my make 9s. But yeah, I don't want to have this lingering in my stash forever, so I might make one of those for my boyfriend, because he was getting kind of sad about how he didn't have a nice chunky cabled sweater. He's so spoiled. So spoiled. But yeah, this is just delightful. It blocked out so nicely, and honestly, it's so nice. It's surprisingly light for how like bulky it is. And yeah, I'm really excited for winter to go, like when it starts getting chilly, and you can wear this just by itself outside. So I'm really looking forward to that. And another thing too, I know I've heard other people talk about like cabling without a cable needle and how it's so much faster, and it always just makes me think like everybody's style is different. I personally get really slow when I try to cable without a cable needle. I use just a DPN in a smaller size to do my cables. I'm so much faster when it's just using a cable needle. So do whatever works for you, obviously. And yeah, for me, adding that tool is just, it's so much easier. But finished sweater. It was a strange choice to start, you know, in June. Very strange. But yeah, those are my finished knitting objects. I'll show you my finished quilt top after I do my whips, just in case there's some people out there who don't really care for sewing. Not gonna knock it. My first work in progress is an Oslo hat, because I gotta. I dyed yarn for this specifically because I wanted a yellow one in my life. This one I'm hoping is for me. None of the other ones are for me, so this one I'm hoping to keep for myself because I dyed up a new colorway, and this is on my fingering weight base and then my Surrey alpaca, and this is called Treasure. So I dyed this up specifically for myself. And what size needle am I knitting it on? I'm knitting this one on a 3mm as well. I am doing I think I'm doing the largest size. I have a slightly above average head size, and I don't like tight hats, so I'm making this on my, yeah, the largest size. I don't know where I'm going with that. Here it is so far, and yeah, not much to say. I'm almost to the point where I can switch directions and then sew down the brim. And I find after I get to that point, it's absolutely the fastest thing ever. It like pretty much knits itself after that last bit, and I love it. I haven't fully decided which one I'm going to do next. I'd like to make a black one, kind of for both me and my boyfriend, just to have in the winter. And then I also want to make like speckled colorway, but we'll see. I haven't 100% decided yet. I also need to ask a few people what colorway they'd prefer so that I can make them for Christmas. But that's my first work in progress. Not much to say about that. And I'm going to probably have it as a finished object next time and a new colorway that's on. So again, I hope you guys don't get too bored by me constantly having one of those on the needles. My second work in progress is my pavement sweater by Vera Valimaki. Since the last time you saw it last time, I have finished both sleeves and I've knit a couple inches on the body. And I'm trying really hard to finish this before I cast on the Gartrell Crew by Tanis Lavely that I'm just desperate to cast on. I have all of the yarn for the body of that sweater sort of nicely organized on the trolley beside my chair on the couch, and I keep staring at it. I keep wanting to cast on, but it's the same size needles as this one. It's both using a 4mm, and I'm just forcing myself to try and finish this one first before I cast on anything new, because I know with this one especially, I have to admit I'm a little bored by it. I'm not entirely sure why, but I have to finish this one or it's really just gonna sit in a bag forever, and I need it for when it's actually warm outside. I've tried it on. I tried it on earlier today. It fits pretty well. I'm hoping it blocks out a little bit in the shoulders, but it fits really well. And I think it'll be perfect for like cooler summer nights and just like cooler summer days, I suppose. I just have to finish it first. But yeah, I'm using my evergreen colorway. And yeah, there's not much to say. I have another set. So I use Addy Clicks for pretty much everything. It's a set I bought like 8 years ago, and they've worked well. I really like them. And I have to say though, I ordered some new tips for my Addy interchangeables recently. I ordered a 4mm and a 5mm, and I don't like them at all. The new tips. I tried using my 4mm earlier today and they wouldn't click into my cables, and the feeling of them is weird and unconnected right in the middle of a row, and it's just like, I love my set, but I also had a friend who ordered one I think 4.5 years ago, and it was absolute garbage. And then she ordered another one. She had me pick one up from a yarn store a little while after that to replace the one that she had, and those were also comparatively garbage. So honestly, if you don't have an old set of Addies, this is my personal opinion, if you can't find an older set, I wouldn't even bother, because I don't think they're that good anymore, and I don't know why. I use them for everything just because it's what I'm used to. They fit into what I already have. I have a lot of fixed circulars as well, but even with them, The joins aren't that good. They're just not that good. If I would buy another set right now, I'd probably go for the Chiaogu because the cords are so great, but that's just me. I've got 2 of the mini Chiaogu sets, but I don't use them that often. Because I like Magic Loop a lot. A lot. Like when it comes to sleeves, I find Magic Loop to be faster for me because the switching from, you know, one side to the other seems to like reset my brain every time I turn instead of like going in circles. Anyway, that's a tangent. I'm trying to finish this, is what I'm trying to say. I want to. So hopefully in the next few days I can get it done because it really won't take too much longer to finish it. And then I don't have to worry about it anymore. So those are my works in progress that I've been working on. I haven't finished my little owl yet. I really want to, and I want to cast on the sheep from that one as well. And then make a bunch of cute little clothes. Especially since everyone I know is having babies. And I always want to make things for people. I have a really strong drive to make things for people, but like I don't have enough time to do it for everybody because then I would never get anything else done. Pardon me. But yeah, my last finished project, I was going to say work in progress, is my quilt top that I was making. I am completely lost today. Ooh, wake up. So I mentioned it before and I've showed it a few times in progress. I was making the Christmas Joy, and this is by Brittany Lloyd of Lo and Behold Stitchery. I've made a few of her patterns, very well written, very easy to follow. If you've never made a quilt before, this could absolutely be the one for you. It's very easy. The most complicated thing about it is going to be a half square triangle, and they're not hard. They're not hard at all. I would absolutely suggest it. Made me think of something else. Anyway, yes, that's the pattern. So I've made this one before. I showed a video of my first one on my podcast episode a couple weeks ago. It's the one I have on my bed, and so this is another one. This is a lot more floral than the last one I made. I won't be able to show it all to you right now, but I did film a little video showing it laid out. Here's a bad view of it. It's so big. I did the queen size, so it's absolutely gigantic. So the dilemma I was having, the reason it took me so long to finish it, is that I didn't have enough of the background color fabric to do the border properly. So you're supposed to have a border on this side that's 2.5 inches, I think, strips that you sew on with the blocks. It was supposed to be the same thickness as this, but I don't know why. I don't think I'd ordered enough of this background fabric in the first place, and I had, when we moved here, this was already a cut out quilt. I had cut it out before, and I'd only had half the amount of this sashing blocks as I needed. So when it got to it, I was trying to decide if I wanted to add in a different, nearly kind of the same family fabric or no sashing at all. But when I actually counted them and I did realize it was exactly half, I just cut them in half. So it's not quite as wide on the sides. But yeah, I've got my background fabric picked out, and I'm going to be sending this to my mother-in-law right away so that I can make a little parcel and I can stick in all the things for my sister-in-law as well. But yeah, it was really nice. I don't have another quilt picked out to make yet. I've got one that's cut out. It's a Christmas quilt, but I'm not sure if I'll make that one or one of the other 100 quilting patterns I have. There's also some foundation paper piecing patterns that I would like to make for my boyfriend soon. But yeah, it's lovely and I love it. I like it a lot. I can't wait to see it quilted too. It's always so nice to get it back from my mother-in-law, all quilted and beautiful. But that's pretty much all I've been working on so far. Again, I'm going to be casting on the Gartrell crew very soon. I also want to cast on the Marseille sweater by Petite Knit in some hand dyed as well, because I have got my like varsity style colorways that I think are just going to look gorgeous in the fall. There's also, I've mentioned this before, my drive to knit and make and all of these things is so high right now. I don't know if it's because I'm keeping myself so busy and I don't have enough time, but like I get enough stuff done, but I really, really just want to cast everything on. I want to cast on my Friday tee, and I want to cast on the, oh, Gus is having a bad dream. And I want to cast on the other field day cardigan, and I want to cast on some baby things, and I want to start everything, but I don't have the time, and if I cast on everything it'll overwhelm me, and so I'm trying to take it easy. I'm going to be I should have enough time. I gave myself an extra week for my next shop update, so it's going to be July 11th when I put up the listing for the whole of the Lord of the Rings collection. I mentioned this on my Instagram post. It will be very limited. I do not have the time to, take 2 months to dye enough for everyone. So I'm going to be having them in 50-gram sets. So each colorway is going to have 50 grams of the self-striping and then a 20-gram mini. And so it'll be the whole pack of 6 because I am going to be doing all 6 colorways, I've decided. And I will have some individuals as well besides that, but I can't see having more than 20 sets because it will literally take me 3 weeks to dye them all from start to finish, and I just don't have time to keep doing that. But, so in the July 8th update, I'll also be having some bags and some of the solid colorways that have been in my shop before. I'm going to be restocking them, and then as well as that, I'll be having some new colorways. And then throughout the summer, I'll be taking it a little bit slower. I plan on having the next big update in September with self-striping, and I want to have a bunch of like Halloween and autumnal colorways in September. But between that, I might fill up the shop with like minis or solids or whatever, maybe some self-striping, but it won't be as busy just because I want to try and take it a little slower so that I don't just keel over one day. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more time to work on some personal projects. That's what I'm hoping. I really like that. The hottest months of the year. Just really buckle down and knit those big sweaters. That's okay. I bought myself an AC unit the other day, so we should be fine. Mostly just to keep in the kitchen because let me tell you, I still work out of my kitchen. I'm pretty small potatoes when it comes to yarn dyeing. I don't have much space. That's why I can't dye as much as I'd like to, but it gets really hot. We've got windows on either side of the kitchen, and like I have the stove and like the whole shebang. It's on, it's hot, it's humid. So I had to get myself an AC unit. Had to do it. Should probably turn it on now. It's getting really warm in here. But yeah, anyway, that is enough blather. I will see you guys in my next episode. I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks in this new summer season, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye!